Hi students, today we are starting with a new chapter, human reproduction. In this chapter, we are going to learn about several concepts, which include the phases of reproduction, the male reproductive system, the female reproductive system, menstrual cycle, spermatogenesis, oogenesis, development of fetus, and parturition. Now, when we look into the human reproduce sexually. I mean, in which the formation and fusion of gametes is involved. Human reproduction takes place in three phases: pre-fertilization phase, fertilization phase, and post-fertilization phase. Pre-fertilization phase, in the sense, all the events that takes place before fertilization, which include gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Here, gametogenesis means the process of formation of gametes. In human being, two kinds of gametogenesis can be seen. The first one is spermatogenesis, which occurs in male, and second one is oogenesis, which occurs in female. Spermatogenesis is a kind of gametogenesis in which formation of sperm takes place. Oogenesis is also kind of gametogenesis in which egg or ovum is going to be produced. After gametogenesis, the second phase in pre-fertilization event is gamete transfer. Once the gamete formation is over, they need to come in contact for successful fertilization process. In order to make fertilization success, the gamete need to be transferred from male reproductive system to female reproductive system. And in case of human being, the gamete transfer takes place with the help of process called as insemination. Insemination, in the sense, the transfer of male gamete from male reproductive system to female reproductive system with the help of a transmittant organ called as penis. In fertilization, male and female gametes together they form zygote, and the process is called as fertilization. Once the zygote is formed, further development it is included in the next phase called as post-fertilization event. Post-fertilization phase or post-fertilization events means all the events that occurs after successful fertilization, and it include implantation, gestation, and parturition. Here, implantation, in the sense, the attachment of embryo to the uterine wall. Here I am not going to discuss what is uterine, what is embryo. We are going to discuss all those concepts in the later classes. After successful implantation, the next phase in post-fertilization event, it is gestation. Here, in gestation, it is a period between implantation and the parturition. So we can define gestation as the developmental period of a fetus from implantation up to the parturition. So once the gestation is over, so usually the gestation period in human being, it is around 9 months and 9 days, okay? And once the implantation is over, once the gestation is over, parturition takes place. Here, parturition, in the sense, expelling out of the fully developed baby or fully developed fetus. In general, we use the term for parturition, it is delivery. Let us study the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system include primary sex organs and secondary sex organs. When we look into the primary sex organs, so it includes pair of testes, whereas the secondary sex organ includes accessory ducts, accessory glands, as well as the external genitalia. Now, in secondary sex organs, when we study the accessory ducts, it includes rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, and vasa deferens. In the same way, the secondary sex organs, so it also includes accessory glands, so where we can find out seminal vesicles, the prostate gland, as well as the Cowper's glands too. And finally, In secondary sex organ, we will find the external genitalia. So that is the penis. Let us study the male reproductive system. Here, what I am showing, it is called as scrotum. A scrotum is a pouch of pigmented skin arising from the lower abdominal wall and hanging in between the legs. And when we look into the function of scrotum, okay, so the function of scrotum is to maintain the temperature less than the body temperature, usually 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less than the body temperature. Why it has to maintain? Because the spermatogenesis and the maturation of sperm will not take place normally at body temperature. So in order to make the spermatogenesis and sperm maturation normally, the scrotum has to maintain the temperature usually less than the body temperature. Now come to the testes. The testes are called as primary sex organs. They are about 4 to 5 centimeter in length, 2 to 5 centimeter in width, and 3 centimeter thick. Each testis weighs about 10 to 15 grams and connected to the abdominal cavity with the help of spermatic cord. Each testis has 3 covering layers from external to internal: tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, and tunica vasculosa. Due to ingrowth of tunica albuginea, usually a single testis shows 200 to 300 compartment-like structures, what we call lobules. And the tunica albuginea, which had formed ingrowths, it is called as septa. Due to formation of septa only, many compartment-like structures are formed, what we call lobules. Note that a single testis shows 200 to 300 lobules. And each lobule contains usually 1 to 3 highly convoluted structures, what we call seminiferous tubules. And seminiferous tubules are the site of spermatogenesis, in the sense where the spermatogenesis occurs, or where the synthesis, or where the production of sperm occurs. The seminiferous tubules open into a network-like tubules called as rete testis through a very fine tubular structure called as tubuli recti. And the rete testis, they are made up of squamous epithelial cells which helps in the movement of sperms. Look at this structure. So this is network-like structure, it is called as rete testis. The rete testes, they are connected to caput epididymis by 12 to 20 fine tubules called as vasa efferentia. So here I am showing the structures. These are vasa efferentia. They are also made up of the epithelial cells, which shows very fine hair-like structures called as cilia. So which are also helps in the conduction of sperms or movement of sperms. Epididymis is a continuous tubular structure from the vasa efferentia. The epididymis divided into 3 parts. Upper part is known as caput or head epididymis. The middle narrow straight form or flattened structure, it is called as corpus epididymis. And the last part of the epididymis is called as tail or cauda epididymis. In the cauda epididymis, the sperms are stored for few hours to few days till sent out through ejaculation. And the maturation of sperm also occurs in the cauda epididymis itself. So look at this diagram. What I am showing here through this cursor, it is vasa differentia. So vasa differentia are continuation of the cauda epididymis, which measures 45 centimeter long. Usually in the initial stage they are slightly coiled, but later they become straight as they enter abdominal cavity. The vasa differentia conduct sperms from epididymis to the urethra, and they are lined by the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Look at this point. Here usually 2 cm straight muscular tubes are going to be formed by the union of vasa deferens and the ducts of seminal vesicles. So where usually the ejaculate is going to be formed. Later these ejaculator ducts, they join to the urethra. Urethra is a tubular structure which carries the both urine as well as sperms and originates from the urinary bladder. Urethra is some 20 cm long and passes through the penis and open into urethral meatus. Look at these structures. These structures are pair of muscular pouch-like structures which produces a fluid called as seminal fluid, and the structures are called as seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle secreted secretion contain a nutritive fluid and it is in alkaline nature. The nutrients of seminal fluid are fructose and citrate, as well as it also contains certain kinds of enzymes like prostaglandins. Look at this structure. This structure is known as prostate gland, which surrounds the first part or the first portion of the urethra. This gland secretes a slightly acidic fluid, usually around 6.5 pH, which forms 25% of the semen. The secretion of prostate gland also nourishes and activates the spermatozoa for the swimming purpose. Prostate gland is also very essential for the sperm motility. If they are removed, the removal causes the sterility. The secretion of prostate gland includes citric acid, calcium, phosphate, fibrinogen, and fibrinolysin-like structures. Look at these structures. These structures are known as Cowper's gland. They are also called as bulbourethral gland. Pair of Cowper's glands which are attached to the urethra secrete alkaline mucus which is usually discharged into the spongy part of the urethra. This mucus lubricates the reproductive tract as well as serve to neutralize any acid which is remaining in the reproductive tract. Look at this structure. This is the last part of the secondary reproductive organ, so that is penis. Now what you are seeing is a sectional view of penis. The penis is an erectile copulatory organ, so which is made up of special kind of spongy tissues. Here 3 columns of spongy tissues can be seen here in this sectional view. Now one of the column it is called as corpus spongiosum. What I am showing here, it is corpus spongiosum which surrounds the urethra, and the rest of the 2 columns they are called as Cowper cavernosia. All these 3 columns together they helps in the erection of penis, which is very important thing during the copulation. The penis divided into 3 regions: root penis, body penis, and head penis. The root penis is the structure where it is attached to the body, and cylindrical elongated structure it is known as body, and the bulged structure at the tip it is called as glans penis or head of the penis. That bulged structure is nothing but the corpus spongiosum which has bulged at the tip, and that glans penis covered by a retractable skin what we call prepuce, or else it is also known as foreskin. So for what we have discussed, it is with respect to the male reproductive system. Now we are discussing the process of formation of sperm, that is spermatogenesis. So as we know that spermatogenesis is a biological process in which the sperms are formed, and it occurs in the testis. So look at the diagram. So what we are showing here, it is a testis, and the compartments in the testis they are lobules, and in the lobules the coiled structures they are seminiferous tubules, and a single seminiferous tubule section showing here, and the enlarged structure of the seminiferous tubule here it is. The seminiferous tubules they show 2 different kinds of cells. So the seminiferous tubule it is lined by the rectangular cells what we call germinal epithelium, and triangular strike or cone like or pyramid like structures what we call Sertoli cells. Here the spermatogenesis it occurs in 3 phases: multiplication phase, it is also known as proliferation phase, growth phase, and maturation phase. The first phase, multiplication phase. In this phase the germinal epithelial cells they undergo continuous mitotic division, I mean proliferation, in order to produce large number of spermatogonial cells. Okay, so here they undergo a typical cell division what we know that. So mitosis. Due to mitosis the formed daughter cells are also diploid in nature. Due to mitosis, the germinal cell it divide into daughter cells what we call spermatogonal cells. They are diploid in nature only. Why? Because mitosis is a equational division and not reductional division. Now the formed spermatogonial cells they enter into the second phase called growth phase, where they start to store the reserved food material and enlarges 2 to 3 times to their original size. And now once they attain the complete enlarged structure. They are now ready to enter into the maturation phase. Here, in maturation phase, the grown spermatogonial cells, they enter into meiosis and results in the formation of haploid cells, 4 haploid cells, what we call spermatids. The grown spermatogonial cells which are entering into the first meiosis, they are called as primary spermatocytes. In the sense, they are till in diploid stage. Once they enter into meiosis 1, it results in the formation of 2 daughter cells. So after the completion of meiosis 1, and they are haploid in nature, which are ready to enter into the meiosis 2, so that they are called as secondary spermatocytes. And these secondary spermatocytes, after completion meiosis 2, they form 4 daughter cells, as I am showing here. These 4 formed daughter cells, they are called as spermatids, and all they are haploid in nature. These formed spermatids, they changes their structure to the typical spermatozoa, and the process is called as a spermiogenesis. The spermiogenesis can be defined as the metamorphosis of spermatid into spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. And these formed spermatozoa, they embedded into the Sertoli cell until they liberated into the rete testis. And the process of liberation of sperm into rete testis, it is called as spermiation. So now what you are seeing is the structure of sperm. The sperm has a pear-shaped structure called as head, a very constricted structure neck, and a middle piece, finally the tail piece. And when we look into the head, it has 2 structures in it. The anterior acrosome, which is made up of Golgi complex, which has many hydrolytic enzymes, which is useful in the fertilization process, followed by the posterior elongated structure called as nucleus. The head is followed by a constricted, very narrow structure called as neck, which is followed by middle piece. Middle piece packed with mitochondria, which is essential for the liberation of energy during the locomotion or during the movement of sperm. So that needed energy is provided by the rich mitochondria middle piece. And the last part, it is called as the tail, which is essential in the locomotion for the direction and movement. And this whole structure, head, middle piece, tail, they are covered by membranous structure, what we call plasma membrane. The human male usually ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperms during coitus, of which for normal fertility, and out of them 60% of sperms should be normal in size and shape, and rest of them they may not be.